30s. Some people look at terms of 30s, but also responding to these stages change as life expectancy increases, right? Life expectancy. Like I said, for instance, during what, 1900, when life expectancy was 47, 35-year-old grandmothers was the norm. You know, in other words, to have a seat, a bunch of 35-year-old grandmothers out there was a norm, right? Okay, now with life expectancy in the 70s, a lot of women don't start having kids until they're in their 30s, right? And there are advantages and disadvantages of each situation. The advantage of having your kids young when you're in your 20s, not necessarily in teens, okay, like what's happened during that time period, but to 20s, ideal age, 23 to 33. That's the ideal, or actually 23 to 28 when we talk. Ideal age to have a kid, especially for females, okay? Guys, it's a little stretched depending on who you read or who you talk to around here. Okay, that's when you're youngest, your best ever, you have a kid. But nowadays, people are wanting to have their kids in their 30s, right? Okay, so you may not be the best physically, however, the person who's established themselves in their career, it's a lot easier, isn't it? You can give the kid more material. Yeah.
I mean, back in the days, people would work, like women would always stay home so they can have kids as young as they want.
Right.
You know, physically they'd be fit, but then, you know, they didn't have to work. They didn't even have to do anything around the house. They had maids and this and that.
Yeah.
So they could just have kids all their lives.
That's true. Yeah, go ahead.
The problem is like being more established in your career is you're more committed to your career than you would be to those children. So what I see a lot is women going back to work like after 4 months or something, or 2 months after the babies were born, and they're in daycare, you know, for their infancy, and then it's
Yeah.
like they're being taken care of by other people, so maybe they can be provided with more material things and more economic security, but they're missing out on the relational
That's a good point.
aspect.
That's a good point.
And then if you think about that, that's been happening for maybe about like 15, 20 years now.
Yeah.
It's been pretty normal for that to happen for a
Yeah.
pregnancy. And then we have all of these depressed kids and
That's
all of
true.
this extra.
That's true. I mean, and that's a trade-off.
Uh-huh.
That's a trade-off, you know. At the same time, when you're in your 20s, people tend to get a little more selfish. And you're then trying to establish yourself in a career versus you've already established yourself in the career. And I mean, it's kind of hard going through law school with an infant, you know, 5 years. It's really, I mean, versus going through law school by yourself. Does that make sense? That's kind of the trade-off. Okay, and a lot of times, because older parents oftentimes tend to be more involved with their kids. They go all the kids' soccer games. You know what I'm saying? They're right there in the teacher's face. You know, whereas younger adults, they have the kids, they got to go to work trying to climb, right? Does that make sense? When you're climbing, it's kind of hard, you know, trying to reach to help them out. Versus now you're already there. She's an established lawyer, okay? You know, or he's established as an accountant, okay? Now you're ready to have it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's like when you're younger and you're trying to establish your career, some people you don't even want your bosses to know you have children because that's a setback.
Interesting.
That's a reason to not promote people into high responsibility.
Because you got time. Yeah, you got to deal with your kids. You don't have time to.
Somebody calls up, come pick up your kid. Oh, they got to go.
Okay, that's interesting. Then I'll bet there'll be more excuse for not to hire women to a certain extent. But yeah, and that's a trade-off. I mean, there are advantages, disadvantages. So, looking at myself, you know, I had my first son when I was 39, my second son when I was 41. And then my wife was, she was 4 years younger than me, so she was in her late 30s. You know, so when I was 39, she was 35. You know, so she's 35. Same thing, you know. I don't think I could have been the same parent. You know, when I was in my 20s, you know, trying to, you know, get to go here and there, hustling, you know. Whereas now, you know, I spend more time with my kids than she did. Because I got off before school let out. By the time I got back home, by the time we got home from school, I had, you know, dinner ready and everything, you know. I mean, the same concept. Whereas I wouldn't have done it in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have done it. And Bradley, we're talking the Bradley method. What's the Bradley birthing method? Yeah, almost everybody in the Bradley method's in their mid-30s, with kids. And that's one thing you gotta look at in terms of the advantages and disadvantages, but also with life expectancy expanding, you can do that, can't you? Oh, you're only expected to live to be 49. You want to have those kids as soon as possible, versus if you think you're gonna live to be 70 or 80. Yeah, and so that's where kind of the trade-off comes in. However, older women have to go through amniocentesis, ultrasound, they run through all those tests because over 35, the incidence of birth defects increase. Does that make sense? That's another advantage for having kids earlier. Okay. Yeah, I'll go back to this one. But in terms of, we talked about before, primary aging and secondary aging, right? What's primary aging? Yeah, things you have no control over. Things you have no control over in terms of you're going to get old. You're old as you are, okay? Secondary aging, though, those are things that what? Yeah. Those are things that lifestyle, eating habits, okay, diet, exercise, all these type of things play into your secondary, aging. In other words, you age based upon, the things you've done, how you treat your body. Okay, once again, this goes all the way back to adolescence. Most people start their bad habits during their time period. So, the chain smoker. I actually know a guy who lights one cigarette off the old one. I mean, it's like, wow, Rick, come on now, But somebody like that too. Just finish one cigarette and lights the next one off the old. Well, saves money with the lighter. Which you don't have to use the lighter as often. That's one way to look at it. Okay, he goes, when he runs out of cigarettes. At 3 o'clock in the morning, he's going to sort of guy, got to get his cigarettes. Okay, but he started smoking at 15. Now at 47, all those years. But he smokes light cigarettes. Salem lights. Okay, the filter, so that kind of makes up for it. And he eats healthy. Eats healthy. Doesn't eat any fat. It cracks me up. But in terms of, I guess, eating healthy, probably made up for smoking, right? Yeah, there you go. Eating unhealthy and smoking. I guess I always joke with him about that. You're smoking a pack, 2 packs a day, not talking about eating healthy. Okay, that's how we all negotiate on some levels, don't we? Yeah, with everybody. All of us negotiate. That's the whole idea of exercising and stuff to what? Extend bargaining, right? Yeah, give me some more time on this planet. Okay, so let me do what I have to do to get there. So I'm going to either exercise or work out or reduce the stress or quit smoking. There you go. Or something. Well, what they found even with senior citizens is okay, in terms of, now the primary here is that